Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah.
The views expressed by J. Michael McCoy are the views of the hosts and guests of Max World Live, and not necessarily the views of Webcast One Live, its staff, its management, the cleaning crew, Dave the electric guy, the guy who cleans the skywalk, the woman who brought in the cookies, the management staff of Hubble Real Estate, the parking lot attendant at Keck Parking, the wait staff over at Miss Kitty's, the coffee crew at Frederick's, the man in the street corner willing to work for food, Rob Spearman, Max Crabb, or anyone else of sound mind. Should you be offended, provoked, intimidated, shocked, confused, or just made to think independently, log on to MaxWorldLive.com right now. It's your voice we want to hear in Max World. And now, live from the palatial studios of Webcast One Live, your host, J. Michael McCoy.
Good afternoon, 4 minutes after the hour on this 10th day of December in the Lord's year 2013, almost 2014. George Jetson is a twin today. Did you know that? George Jetson was born 75 years ago today. Just so you know, I wanted you to know when George's birthday was. Tom, did you send him a cigar?
No, I didn't, Mac.
You know, if you and I grew up in the George Jetson age.
Yes.
And if you were to look around at a lot of the things that we have in everyday life now, it was in the Jetson
You're probably right. Much of it was.
Yeah, you can push a button and order a hot meal, and it comes down.
Same way with Star Trek series.
Yeah,
much
absolutely.
of the Star Trek series is now fact.
This is my communicator right here.
That's exactly right.
There's more technology in one smartphone than there was on the Apollo 1 spaceship.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
Mission.
Thank you, Dave Pasqua. We have the star of Every Man Show, Dave Pasqua, in the studio today, and he's brought two lovely ladies. One is Lori Sandblom, and you may not hear or see or hear from her today, as she wants to be quiet. But we're here in honor of Annie
Say it.
Sheibley-Burton's fight against breast cancer. And, of course, Tom Coates in the house along with Ryan producing today. So, Annie, when did you find out you had breast cancer?
October 16th.
October 16th of?
2013.
2013. All right. Now, you're going to need to give me some vital information here, just so everybody understands. How old are you?
33.
Okay, and are you from Des Moines?
Yes.
You born and raised here?
Born and raised. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee when I was in kindergarten. Lived in Tennessee for 4 years. Came back when I was in 4th grade and been here ever since.
Why did you move to Nashville? Well, I'm assuming your parents moved to Nashville.
Yeah, my stepdad had a job offer out there at Stu Hansen.
Okay.
And so we moved out there, and then my grandma still lived in Des Moines. So my mom really wanted to come back because she missed her family. She just couldn't be that far away.
Yeah.
So we came back.
And what high school did you graduate from?
I went to Dowling. Wasn't there that long. I ended up going to Hoover, but I ended up getting my GED.
Okay. And overall, how's 33 years of life been, except for the last couple months?
It's been good.
Do you have children?
I have 4 children.
Whoa.
Four amazing children.
4? As in 1, 2, 3, 4?
1, 2, 3, 4.
And how old are they?
I have a 14-year-old daughter named Mariah.
Okay.
12-year-old son named Jeremiah. An 8-year-old son named Jace. And a 6-year-old daughter named Isabella.
All right. And do they all understand what's happened to Mom?
Yeah. The 2 younger ones, the only thing that they really understand is that I no longer have any hair. They don't really understand the whole cancer thing.
Is that a wig?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's a great wig.
Yeah.
Tom,
I would guess it was a wig.
See what happens when you lose your hair. We'll get you a wig like that. Yeah, for those of you listening on the radio, you're going, why is she discussing visuals? Well, that's because we're also live on webcast1live.com, which is a passionate radio with pictures. And so if you tune over to Webcast One Live, you will see the visuals here. So the youngest ones know that Mommy's sick and that she lost all her hair.
Yes.
And Mariah and Jeremiah, they
understand completely. My grandma was diagnosed with breast cancer. She passed away from breast cancer back in 2005.
This would be your mother's mother?
Yes.
Okay.
We were very close, and when I found out, and I mean, I was just traumatized. I thought, My grandma was gone within 4 months after going through chemo, and I thought that's what was going to happen to me.
Yeah.
So it was pretty hard on me in the beginning, but
Is your mom still around?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you guys had a family genetic DNA testing?
We're getting that done, but it's more than likely that it is. That they say it skips a generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get the double bisectomy to get them both removed.
Okay. Well, when somebody says, I have breast cancer, now we know that cancer, and you jump in here because you probably understand it better than I, but cancer is a growth that consumes cells that help us live.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
All right. When you have breast cancer, is that any different than any other type of cancer? In other words, when you have breast cancer or liver cancer or thyroid cancer, it's all the same thing. It's just located in a different place?
I believe so.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Why, from my standpoint, and the only person that I've ever known that's close to me that had breast cancer was my wife's favorite sister, my sister-in-law, and she went through the processes that you're going through and had the double mastectomy, did I say that right? And is now 3 years later cancer-free and wonderful and bouncing around, just like she always was. But for the most part, where do they think that you contrive breast cancer? Where does it come from? Don't know. That's okay. That's all right. It seems to me, and I'm a guy, so I don't know a lot of these things, but it seems to me that there's a greater awareness of this disease in the past, 10 years?
Yes.
Why is that? Is it because we have more women with breast cancer, or are we finally just standing up and going, it's okay to talk about boobies when we're talking about a terrible disease?
I think that it's because a lot of more women are getting it, and the medical
World?
is getting a lot better
Okay.
on treating.
Yeah, because the pink ribbon, what's that ribbon called that goes like
Pink
that?
ribbon.
Just pink ribbon? Okay. Lori, is there an official word for the way it's put together, or just the pink ribbon? Okay. Because the ribbon thing started, do you know where the ribbon thing started? You're old. I don't know. Maybe you're not old enough to remember. Tom, you remember. You remember where the yellow ribbon started? And it's not Tony, Orlando, and Don, so don't tell me that.
No.
It was war.
No.
Go ahead, Mac.
It was when the Iranian hostages, when the Americans were taking when the Iranians took the American hostages on November 3rd, 1979, they started wrapping yellow ribbons around trees. And then it went to red ribbons for AIDS, and now we have pink ribbons for breast cancer. And I think we even have, green ribbons for leprechauns or something. I'm not sure, but the ribbon movement is big. Take me to that moment. What was going on? Did you feel a lump?
Back in January, I felt a lump. I didn't have insurance at the time, so I went to Planned Parenthood, and they sent me away and said, "Oh, it's just a cyst. If it gets bigger, come back." So I went back a month later. At that point, it was the size of a quarter, and I told them, I'm concerned. I have history of it in my family. And she said, "No, it's just a cyst. Don't worry about it. Gets bigger again, come back." And at that point, it kind of stopped. And then within, I'd say, the early October. Before that, about a month before October, I had went back in, and that's when I noticed it was growing large, and that's when I found out I was stage 3 breast cancer.
Stage 3. Okay, now tell me what that means. Stage 4 is the worst.
Stage 4 is the worst. That means that it goes from the stages goes from the size of the lump, and then if it goes through your lymph nodes, and then stage 4 is if it gets into your bones and your organs.
All right.
And it hasn't reached that point.
So it is in your lymph nodes,
yes,
but only in the breast area?
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask a delicate question. Okay. Are you mad at Planned Parenthood?
Very, very.
Yeah, I sure would be. Yeah. I mean, and let me just let you know, I'm not a Planned Parenthood fan.
Right.
So I'm really jumping on this bandwagon, giving one more reason to not like Planned Parenthood.
Absolutely.
Amen.
But you went to them and they failed you twice?
Twice.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Remind me to talk about that later, Tony.
I would have picked up on the same thing had you not mentioned it.
I'm
Mike.
sure you would have. Have you ever had anybody in your life with breast cancer?
My mother had it, now probably close to 40 years ago, and had a radical mastectomy at that point.
That was
And
probably
so
all they
when
knew.
I was still in the home at that point.
Okay.
So yeah, and well, there were other options, but that was the most likely one. She went to. It was the most solid one. She had the radical. They gave her some X-ray treatments, if I recall, and she's been fine. But now my daughters, who are now in their 30s, are concerned over the skipping of the generation. They've not had the Angelina Jolie thing where they go in and find out if they've got this genetic angle that you're talking about. But there is certainly concern, and they're keeping a more of an eye on it than if there wasn't that in the family. So, yeah, I've had some experience with it, Mac.
Dave, have you?
My mother, she had breast cancer. She had a mastectomy. This was back in late, I want to say it's 89, 87, 88, somewhere in there. And she had a single mastectomy done. And it was, like Tom was saying, the same way. My mom was a survivor. She survived that, and like Annie will. I mean, it can be survived. You can survive.
40 years later, my mother's still fairly healthy and exercising and getting along well in her 80s. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So you go to Planned Parenthood and they say, don't worry about it. And you go back again and they say, don't worry about it. And what caused you a third time to go this time to a regular doctor?
Because it was the size of a softball. It was growing out, and there's different types. And after I got diagnosed, it's invasive ductal. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Which is very aggressive. So I'm glad I went when I did. I mean, I wish I would have went sooner to a real doctor. But in between that time of Planned Parenthood and me going to a real doctor, it hadn't grown, But then that last month, that's when, around September, that's when it started getting a lot bigger.
Yeah. And are they located underneath the breasts or on the side or on top, or
On
it
the
doesn't
side.
matter?
On the side.
Is it always on the side?
No,
Don't know. Well, no. Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. And take me back to that moment. I'm assuming you're in a room with an oncologist.
In the room with an oncologist and my mom, and I knew.
Something had to be wrong because you've got
I
this
knew.
huge thing.
Yeah, and I knew, even back when I went to Planned Parenthood, I knew at that time, because my grandma had it, I knew one day I was going to have to face it. Never did I ever dream that I would face it at the age of 33. And so healthy. I just never imagined.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to ask. You up to that point, you're a healthy. I mean, you've given birth to 4 children, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, and it was just very hard for me to just think that, and I really thought I was going to be dead, like within 4 months, just like my grandma was. And I told my mom, I said, I'm not going through chemo, because that's what killed my grandma. The chemo was just too strong on her. She was 74 when she was diagnosed. But her and the doctors, told me that she was older. Her heart just couldn't take it. And I'm young and I'm healthy, and this is something that I can fight. And it took me, a month to get where I'm at today. Today I am okay with this.
Hody-do. You're okay with it.
Well, I know I'm going to be okay. I have to be okay with it. I have to believe that God's got this. He's, helping me through this.
All right. We're going to stop here, take a break, come back. I'd like to have you for another 15 minutes or so, if we can.
Absolutely.
And then we'll let you guys go, and you and I can rail on the other
things.
Yeah, don't need to do that with Annie in the room. All right. You're probably asking how you can help. There's going to be a fundraiser this Saturday from 2 to 6 here in Des Moines. Your opportunity
next Saturday.
I'm sorry, next Saturday. Thank you very much. Next Saturday from 2 to 6. And we'll tell you where, we'll tell you how. If you have questions or stories or something you'd like to help Annie with, phone lines are open at 1-855-244-0077. I'm J. Michael McCoy. We're coming back live here on Max World on The View from a Pew on KTIA, Iowa.
All across America, there are countless numbers of people struggling with addiction and other life-controlling issues. Probably someone you know and love. There is a way out. There is hope. Transformations Treatment Center in Delray Beach, Florida, has a unique approach to substance abuse treatment. Call now and ask about our Guaranteed Success program or log on to transformationstreatment.com. Transformations. Change your life. Change your relationships. Transform your world.
Yes, now your favorite programs on Webcast One Live can all be watched and listened to on any Android or Apple device. Your phone, tablet, or iPad. Yes, your favorite shows on Webcast One Live are available live or on podcast wherever you go. Let me introduce to you some of our great shows.
Shalom! Every week on Understanding the World with Rabbi David Kaufman, we'll talk about issues in the Middle East, issues related to the Jewish tradition and religious traditions in general, and keep you up to date on exactly what's going on around the world. You may know some of the story, but you haven't heard all of the story until you've heard it on Understanding the World with Rabbi David Kaufman and our special guests we have on every week.
Hey, this is Doc with Doc and Lefty. I want to tell you about our brand new time slot. It's from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. It's on the same night, Tuesdays. We now follow Ed Fallon and the Fallon Forum on webcast1live.com. I want to tell you a little bit about our show. Our show is focused on local, state, and national, and sometimes international politics. We like to keep people updated and informed. We also have very interesting guests. So please join us every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. on webcast1live.com.
So when you want to watch your favorite Webcast One program, remember, there's an app for that. You know, there's an app for that.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Get away from us, you mean old credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
21 minutes after 3 o'clock on this 10th day of December in the Lord's year 2013. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Thanks for listening. This is View from the Pew on 99.3 KTIA, powered by Webcast One Live. A lot of you are either listening to this on a podcast or watching it on a podcast. Thank you. We know there's lots of choices you have. You're here to support Annie, and we appreciate you being here. Again, there will be a event to help raise money for Annie's medical bills. It is Saturday, December 21st, from 2 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon at a place called Miss Kitty's. It's located at 8800 Swanson Boulevard. That's just a block west of 86th and University on Swanson there. There will be a free will offering at the door, T-shirts available, and there will be raffle tickets. Will you have a silent auction, or will you everything be raffled?
No, we're gonna do raffle. We're gonna have baskets. We've got people donating things, and we're gonna do raffle. And then we are thinking that we have some extra gift cards and stuff that we have that we may just do a fun raffle during it. You know, you can put your raffle tickets in this box, and we'll call them out as the afternoon goes through. You know, if they don't see something they like in one of the gift baskets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Annie, you went back to that day on October 16th when the doctor informed you that you had breast cancer. Where was your faith prior to that day?
I had my faith, but nothing like I do right now today.
Okay. All right. They say there's no atheists in foxholes.
Right.
But that's okay. You know, God is there for us to call on when we need him the most, and that helps build a relationship.
Right.
And hopefully, as you go through this and he heals you, or the doctors heal you, or whatever happens, you'll continue to grow in that relationship with him, because that's important. What do you want other young women out there to know who have either not been told that they are suffering from breast cancer, or who just found out?
Get checked. Make sure you get mammograms. You know, if you feel a lump, go to the doctor. Go to a real doctor, not Planned Parenthood. It's everywhere. There's so many people that I know within this last month who have been diagnosed with it. One of my very close friends just got diagnosed. It's everywhere, and it happens every day. Just be aware of it.
Yeah, and the other thing a lot of people don't realize, men can get breast cancer.
Yeah.
We had a guy in our men's group at church, perfectly well, 55-year-old man, great shape, exercise, didn't have any terrible habits or anything, you know, as far as consumption, and he gets breast cancer. Mm-hmm. So men can also get it. So what do you hope to accomplish with your children? What do you hope that your children learn from you through this?
Seeing how strong that I am through all this, it's brought me and my 14-year-old daughter a lot closer. We had our little ups and downs. I mean, she's 14, and you know, I've had my bumps in the road with my life, but she sees how I've gotten better through all that, and she sees that, you know, I'm a fighter and I'm going to fight this, and it's brought us, and that's the beauty. I don't want to say the beauty of cancer, but I feel like if I didn't have cancer, maybe we wouldn't have got where we're at today. So I am truly blessed to have that.
Yeah, and if I'm telling you something you don't agree with, you can, but you know, God didn't give you cancer.
Right.
You know that.
Right.
Okay. God just comes into your life in the hardest of times and helps you through it and teaches you a way to recover not only physically but spiritually from that. Mm-hmm. How about your little boy Jeremiah? How's he hanging in there?
He's hanging in there. He understands it. He's my rock. I mean, he's
the man of the house.
He is. Him and his sister, the older sister, they live with their dad. Right now I'm living with my mom, so I've got my two younger ones, and the two older ones live with their dad and their stepmom. And they're very supportive.
Good.
Of everything that's going on.
Good. So the family remains intact, even though maybe...
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
What about, you said you're living with your mom. Is your father still living?
No, he's dead. I never really knew my dad.
Okay.
He left when I was a baby.
All right. So your mother's very supportive.
Mm-hmm. And I have a stepdad. Him and my mom divorced a while back when my sister was little, but he's been the only dad that I've ever had.
Sure.
He lives in Osceola, but he comes about every other week to check on me.
Good. So he's been very supportive.
Very much.
And obviously you have a plethora of friends.
Absolutely. I don't know where I'd be without the people that I have.
Is it true that you don't know who your real friends are until tough times hit?
Absolutely.
Have you seen, unfortunately, some go by the wayside?
Oh yeah.
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 How come you think they did that?
Some just I think some see the good that you're doing, and they either want to be on that level or they can't. I don't know.
Can't reach that level.
Can't reach that level, and so they just back away.
Pitter patter out.
Yeah.
And then there are those that come to the rescue.
Absolutely.
How about this hobo sitting to the right of you?
This hobo sitting next to me is one of my very best friends, and I'm so blessed to have met him. I mean, he's done wonders for me.
Think maybe God brought him beside
Absolutely.
you for this reason?
Absolutely.
Now, how long have you known Lori?
I've known Lori since January.
Okay.
Well, a little after, January. So almost a year.
And she's been a rock too.
She's been a rock too. Absolutely.
So what can people do to help you? There's people out there listening right now. They want to know how they can help you. What can they do to help you?
As far as, the fundraiser, any donations would be, helpful. I'm currently not working full time at the moment. I have my days where I'm just really, really tired and I can't work. Like I'll go to work for like 3 hours and I'm just exhausted from, the chemo. It's pretty rough on me. My body's just not used to it. I'm sure after a few more rounds, hopefully it'll get easier.
Yeah. Now, how many rounds of chemo have you
I've
had?
already had 3.
Okay.
I'll have one more and then we'll do the surgery.
Okay. Tell me what chemo is.
Chemo is a bunch of medicine that shrinks and gets rid of this cancer.
Okay.
The way I'm
is it
taking
injected in you?
It's an IV.
It's an IV. And so you sit and
I sit in a room for 2.5 hours.
and this IV goes through you. As it's being pumped into your body, what are the feelings? What are the...
Nothing.
Nothing.
At that point, nothing.
Nothing.
It usually hits me about the third day.
Third day. And what happens then?
Really tired.
Okay.
Bedbound for a couple days.
Just from being tired?
Just from being tired.
Okay.
And after 24 hours after the chemo, I go and get a shot in my arm, and that helps the blood cells even out.
Okay.
And that makes your bones hurt.
That makes your bones hurt. Okay. And you said you've had 3 rounds of this. You'll have one more, and then they'll do the surgery, the double mastectomy. Why the chemo? I just don't know. Why the chemo before and then the surgery?
They wanted to shrink it first because it was too big.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tell them how much it shrank though.
It started out at a size 8, and then I went for the second chemo. Then it was at a size 5, and then my last chemo went down to a 1.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So do they hope that the chemo gets rid of the lump or just greatly diminishes it?
Greatly diminishes it.
And then they'll go in and they'll remove it. Okay. And is it just a mass?
Yeah.
That grows underneath the skin? Okay. I'm sorry. I don't
That's
know
all right.
much about this.
Yeah.
Who has been what has been the most inspirational to you? Not a who, but a what. What things have been inspiring for you? I mean, are there groups of people that you've met that have gone through this that encourage you? Is it the doctors? Is it the technology? Is it a television show? Is it a movie?
I would say people I attend NA meetings, and it's the people in the program who inspire me to fight and stay strong, and my kids.
You said NA, Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes.
So how long have you been clean?
A year. It'll be a year on January 7th.
January 7th. Okay. And what was your drug of choice?
Meth and marijuana.
Wow. Do you think that had anything to do with you getting cancer?
That's what I kind of thought at the time. But
there's really no medical proof to prove that, is there?
no, and my grandma had it, and she was definitely not a meth or marijuana addict.
You never know. She might be, sneaking a little hooch behind the bar.
No, I don't think so.
Not grandma. Okay.
No, not grandma.
We're about out of time here, and we just want to invite people to Annie's Fight Against Breast Cancer. It's coming up a week from this Saturday, December 21st, 2 to 6 p.m. at Miss Kitty's, which is located at 8800 Swanson Boulevard. Free will offering at the door, so therefore free to get in. Raffle tickets available to purchase, T-shirts. Dave, why don't you put the camera on Dave, and Dave, open up your shirt. Well, I guess we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you
we
go.
all got them.
We all got him. You can see him. Okay.
There you go.
And that's pretty. Who designed that for you?
A friend of mine in the program,
Chris,
had sent me a text message with the logo on it, and then I gave it to another guy who got the T-shirt started.
And how many T-shirts have you sold?
I'd say about 100.
Close to 100.
Close to 100.
Okay.
Close to 100. So there's enough T-shirts. We're trying to. This money that we raise is all for Annie, and for the struggle that she's going through with her family, and just to have money to do things. To have milk with your cereal. This is what this money's going for gas in her car to get her back and forth to the doctor, for the things that she needs to get by, get back and forth to church, because this healing process is a process, and it's going to take a while. It's not going to just happen overnight. So everything that is done, is done for her. It's pretty awesome, and praise goes to God for everything that has happened in this woman's life right now. and the people that have surrounded her and gathered with her in this fight, against cancer, and all of us have had cancer touch us in one way or another. But when you see it's somebody that, and I can't tell you why this person has come into my life and why I'm trying to help this person, but I know that cancer is a nasty item out there, and there's got to be a cure. There's a cure out there, and we just don't know what it is yet. And God, just I think the praying is the biggest thing that helped right now. Is there's so many people that I can't even mention that are just praying for this woman worldwide, and now we're on Webcast 1, and you know how many people are listening right now? It's in infinity.
There's at least 1, 2, 3. There's at least 6 of us.
Yeah.
We know, and Frank's out there probably
Frank,
too.
Yeah,
So 7.
and Jilly from Philly, I know he's out there.
Jilly from Philly, there you go.
And I just know.
What does Jilly from Philly sound like?
Jilly from Philly, he sounds like this, and he's from Philadelphia, PA. So I just want to say a shout out to Jilly out there.
Like little Frankie, doesn't it?
God bless you, brother. And I just want to say, everybody that's been praying, I really appreciate it, and just the kind words that they're giving, and the donations that they're giving, from the Taste Italy to Domino's to Papa Murphy's to Signs Now to Little Caesars to all these people who are just giving, the men's group at the church, just everybody. Everybody, thank you.
You bet, Dave. Thank you, and thank you, Lori. So, Annie, when will you know you're okay?
The doctor said within about a year, everything will be.
And the minute a year is up and they tell you you're cancer-free and it's in remission for good, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Praise God.
Okay. That is the correct answer. I was thinking about going to the Super Bowl or something like that. Annie, thanks for being here. We wish you tremendous amounts of luck. Tom and I will be back in just a minute with commentary.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager.
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, it's got to be, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? You can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
.22 before the top. Salem Radio Network News coming up then, and then Pastor Mike Mudloff with True Blue. We've had a real disaster here in Des Moines, not only on the ground, but in the media. And that is the terrible tale of a young man by the name of Stephen Vogel, who last Monday, I think it was, a week ago yesterday, decided for reasons we'll never know, to, I would say, commit suicide by cop.
I wonder if that wasn't it.
You know, and we've got some thoughts on that, and we're going to share that with you in a minute. But first, I want to wrap up this thing with Annie, and I didn't want her here while we're doing this because first of all, these are our opinions, not hers.
Mm-hmm.
But here is
you could see though that she shared some antipathy towards the group you're going to talk about.
Well, here's another reason and another example why Planned Parenthood should no longer be in business. They say that 95% of what they do is women's health.
Right.
So here you've got a 33-year-old mother of 4 that feels
with a history of cancer,
Yeah.
with a history of breast cancer, comes in with a lump.
Goes to Planned Parenthood because she doesn't have insurance, because that's why we fund Planned Parenthood. What we fund? Mac, what do you mean we fund? I don't fund them. Oh, yeah, you do. Your taxpayers.
yeah.
Your taxes do. And the other thing you need to do is you need to go and find out the list of donors that give money to Planned Parenthood, because if you're doing business with any of those people, then you're funding Planned Parenthood. And if you say you're not, you're in denial. And that's not just a river in Egypt. So she goes not once, but twice.
Yes. And a second time when the lump had gotten larger. And again, with even a schlock outfit like this should be asking about family history. And if she's got that and she's got a growing lump, why do you send her down the road?
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're not capable of dealing with it, which apparently they're not, the only thing they're really capable of is killing babies over there. They ought to at least refer to a real doctor or clinic or somewhere that could deal with it.
Right.
It's unconscionable to send her down the road. And why are we subsidizing these bunch of ghouls with our tax dollars that want to kill babies at all stages of life?
Now, you know, we are beginning to win this battle.
Yes,
There are
I believe
Planned
that.
Parenthoods closing.
I believe that, yes.
All over the country because of the outrage that people have towards the 3% of what they do, quote unquote.
And you know what I've said before, and I will say it again. I would love to believe that it's a spiritual revival in this country. I absolutely do not believe that that's the reason we're winning this battle. I believe it is the advancing technology that lets people like myself meet all of their grandchildren. I've now got 7 grandkids.
Wow.
6 of them are out. 1 of them is on the way. But I have already met all of my grandkids before they're born. And it's that type of realization and that type of reality hitting the American public in the face regularly that makes them say, oh, it's not a... Remember in the 70s, they like to call it a lump of unviable tissue mass, and it's a woman's right to choose. You still hear that nonsense about a woman's right to choose, but now it's increasingly clear it's a woman's right to choose to kill the baby that's within inside of her. And when people understand that's the choice, they're rejecting that choice in greater numbers.
Yeah, and I shock all my conservative friends because I say, well, I'm pro-choice too.
Yeah.
I think the woman should choose not to have sex if she doesn't want to have a child. And the feminists, and if you're one listening, I apologize, I don't mean to offend you, but you go crazy on me. You know, it's like I've said this horrible thing. But if you have a choice to kill the child, isn't it intelligent enough to think that you have a choice not to create the child? I don't know.
We can rant on this, but I absolutely agree. And then, of course, if it were about spiritual revival and we're winning there, Mac, we wouldn't have such large numbers of babies being born out of wedlock.
Yeah.
That's the level to poverty. You know, Obama talked just this last week about income, inconsistencies and how we need to help the have-nots to have more and take more from the haves. But the poverty is most stridently demonstrated with those households that the mother is raising the child herself. Mm-hmm. Now, we just argued for the mothers to either have responsibility to not have conception or to get themselves into a situation that they're married to the father and they have it within that boundaries. But we've got, I know, you look at the demographic. The blacks are almost 80%. The Hispanics are over 50% in this country, and the whites are between 30 and 40% of births out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. And that's the line that draws them back into the poverty, and no amount of public funding can change that.
That's right. That's right.
So,
I thought it was interesting, and neither you or I buy into this wealth distribution model that those people who make more money should give more and more and more, and those people that choose to live in poverty, and I know there are people that don't, but I also believe most people do. You find somebody that's on food stamps and they'll have 3 cell phones and they'll have cable TV or satellite TV or they'll have bling. Oh, and when they go and use their food stamps, watch how they abuse the system to buy things that are not nutritious food.
2 things ought to happen. One, there ought to be a work requirement, as we instituted under Bill Clinton when Newt Gingrich and those came in. Go back and reinstitute a work requirement before all those handouts are given. And 2, the right to vote ought to be taken away from those people. They ought not to be able to continue to vote in increasing numbers. Politicians back in that will give even more of our dollars to those that are not working. And I think if you took the vote away, you would defund the politicians' incentive to go ahead and create a greater dependency. Right. And that's what Obama's done. Yeah. He's doubling the number on food stamps and and he's increasing the dependency on government. And once you put a person for an extended period of time on dependency on the government, you can't expect them to get off on their own. You don't ask the bird to get out of the nest, you toss them out of the nest.
Right.
And in the meantime, you take away their ability to vote more of those types of politicians in.
And I would add a third, and that is a drug and alcohol test.
Yes.
I don't think you get to smoke. I don't think you get to drink alcohol, and I don't think you get to use drugs if you're on my dime. But you and I both know that the majority of people who have put themselves in that position are doing all of those things.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
They're abusing all of those things. Yeah, you have to remember that Planned Parenthood was started as a way to kill blacks. That was the original intention of Margaret Sanger,
eugenicist. Yeah. Yes, and she was a great fan of the Nazis over in Germany, who were bent on the elimination of the Jewish nation and blacks for that matter. And it wasn't just the Jews. We know about the Jews, but they were just as hateful and wanting to destroy the minority races, those that they considered inferior. And Margaret Sanger was a great fan of that and intended and for a large part, I mean, you look at the majority of abortions in this country in the last 20 years, you're going to see a disproportionate number of black babies being murdered in those Planned Parenthood clinics versus whites.
Margaret Sanger is laughing in her grave because it worked.
Yeah.
But the tragedy also comes in the fact that this is birth control. And not only is it birth control, but it's free birth control. It's free love. It's free sex. You don't have to take a pill. You don't have to use a condom. You don't have to be cautious. If you end up missing and the baby or the test says the rabbit died, then you just go in and you're customer number 17 today. Take your number, ding, 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 number 17, and 1 hour later, you've killed one of God's chosen. All for the fact that you can now go out and once again have unlimited sex with as many people as you want and not have to worry about the consequences.
And the charade of pretending that they're offering quality medical care is a thing that brought Annie to their doorstep to have a test for breast cancer that they weren't capable of doing. And yet that whole facade, that charade that they're perpetrating on the American people, hopefully will be taken away, and I'd love to see our tax dollars taken away from them.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had to exist on their own,
They couldn't do it.
It would be very difficult for them to do it.
Yeah, they couldn't do it. All right, we're going to take our last break, and when we come back, this rampage on the south side of Des Moines on Creston Avenue a little over a week ago that injured one man, that caused a lot of damage in a neighborhood, but most tragically caused the death of a son, of a father, of a brother. What has it done to the family, and what is the news media doing to blow this thing up in your face? So you could now be a star just like him and be on the front page of the paper with your whole life there if you just have 15 minutes of fame. We'll talk about that when we come back next, live.
Get away from my Sumito credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart. And it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
All across America, there are countless numbers of people struggling with addiction and other life-controlling issues. Probably someone you know and love. There is a way out. There is hope. Transformations Treatment Center in Delray Beach, Florida, has a unique approach to substance abuse treatment. Call now and ask about our Guaranteed Success program or log on to transformationstreatment.com. Transformations. Change your life. Change your relationships. Transform your world.
Ten minutes before the top Salem Radio Network news, and then Pastor Michael Mudloff with Westkirk Presbyterian Church with True Blue. It is the 10th day of December in the Lord's year 2013. This program is being brought to you live in Des Moines, Iowa. And about 9 days ago, we had a tragic incident. A young man under the age of 40, father of, I believe, 2, for whatever reason, we'll never know, decided that around his block, he would put caches of guns. Did you know this?
I'd heard some about this just recently.
He had planned a route that he would walk around his neighborhood, and he hid guns so that he didn't have to carry ammunition. When his guns were out of ammunition, he would just lay it down, and he would then pick up the new guns. Wow. No. And he did shoot out the window of a car, which hit a man, grazed a man in the head. He was hospitalized and is fine now. He also hit several homes and other properties, but he had over 100 police officers because it was right when shift broke.
I know it.
And he had over 100 police officers rush to that area, and one of the police officers was successful in stopping him with a bullet, but unfortunately that bullet also took his life.
Did you know that he graduated from Norwalk High School?
Uh-huh.
And he graduated, I believe, just the year ahead of my oldest daughter.
Yeah. His father was a good friend of mine, and his sister-in-law worked for me for a long time. This is a good family. This is a good middle-class family. The mother, Karen, she had to bury her husband a year and a half ago, and now she's got to bury her son. And no mother should ever have to bury one of her children, especially for something like this. Now, we're not arguing, Tom and I, whether the young man should have been treated as harshly as he was and his life taken. No. We're not arguing whether his actions were acceptable or not. I mean, my gosh, he terrorized his neighborhood. Here's our argument, and Tom, you say it best.
Well, and it's just a coincidence we're all along the same line. We hadn't talked about it,
no.
Mac, but when the last segment ended, I said one of the things I'd like to talk about is I sent an email to Rick Green just a few hours ago.
Editor of the Des Moines Register.
Right, and I expressed my concern for the way that they were handling this coverage. If any of you, probably a lot of you listening to this, don't get the Des Moines Register, and I understand, don't blame you. I do it because I like to keep on track of what's going on, in their world anyway. And I would say, Mac, at least 2/3 of the front page yesterday was taken up with this man's picture.
Oh, it was, and two other full pages inside.
Oh, yeah. No, this was this was the 2/3 of the front page yesterday. If you didn't see it, was taken up with this man's picture and a very extensive background on him. Great father or terrible bully. And the point was, it's not that it was overly flattering to him. The point was that it was the kind of notoriety that our society craves. And there are a lot of people out there, their highest vision, their highest aspiration is to become a celebrity. They worship at the feet of celebrity status. Our culture is, in some cases, wrapped around these reality TV shows that has elevated the Kardashians, Snooki from New Jersey. These people have really nothing to offer society.
Nothing.
Not talent. They're not actors, they're not singers, they're not people that can offer any kind of talent, but they just offer themselves out there for public scrutiny. And the public just fawns over these kinds of people. And they would love just to get there. As I said in the email, you are promoting other sick, demented, disturbed individuals into doing similar types of actions so they themselves can get their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
I think it's unconscionable. I know they're struggling. I know the Des Moines Register is losing readerships. We could talk about that for a long time. We'd love to get Rick Green over here to talk about it. He's been invited and can't find his way over to the studio. But we would love to talk about the failing business model of the Des Moines Register in particular. So I know why they're doing it to some degree, but I think it's unconscionable. I think it is detrimental to our culture to feed in. When somebody goes on a rampage and shoots people, we should not give them front wall-to-wall coverage about what kind of a person they were, going into their background and what troubled them, and making them into this 15-minute celebrity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is not the thing that ought to be done. It only incites more of it.
And I'm going to give you an additional side to that. I completely agree with you, but that wasn't where my heart was when I shared this with my wife the other day. I went to that visitation. I stood next to that casket, open casket. This boy was shot in the right forehead, right here, right? Bang. And whoever the mortician was or whoever does that did a great job, because we were able to see Steve and say goodbye to his face and his body. But here's his mother, Karen, standing in front of this casket. And the tragedy alone is bad enough. But she has to be careful what radio she tunes into. She has to stop reading her local paper. She can't watch her news anymore from in her community because of the sensationalism the media has given this story. But yet, and you may disagree with this, there wasn't a single camera at the funeral to talk to the family about what they were feeling and what they were grieving. The newspaper had reached out to them over and over. Some of them shared a little bit. I think a neighbor said that he was an absolutely wonderful neighbor. The birds were the big deal the other day, that he had 50-some exotic birds. And we're not done with this. There was a story this morning, too.
No, but I mean, I would think that they would be pleased that the media was not there to make a circus out of the service.
That's true. But either way, the family is hurting.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know what difference. We're not going to prosecute this guy.
Well, this is the same kind of society that we have devolved to that has given us Barack Obama. Barack Obama became a media celebrity without accomplishment. Much as I said, the Kardashians. He's the version of Kardashian in the political circles.
Absolutely.
He was a state senator without accomplishment. He voted present on many of the votes. He hadn't even served one term in the U.S. Senate. He fit the profile. He was at least a half black man who could get up and was very articulate in front of the cameras. And all of a sudden, this celebrity status was subscribed to him. And the people, Rush refers to them as the low information voter, but these people that put and elevate celebrity status to the highest echelon thought that he was the biggest celebrity that they could vote for. On Mitt Romney wasn't big enough. Neither was John McCain. I didn't care for McCain. I liked Mitt Romney, but they were far more qualified, and that wasn't the reason that they were put in.
The low
they
information
weren't low enough
voter.
Celebrity status.
Yeah, they're the same people that are reading the newspaper articles. So our prayers go out to the Vogel family and all those involved. And as always, we end our program today with a request that you not only pray for the Vogel family, but just simply pray.